up, guys? This is your boy Josh Showtime. You already know this is Showtime Fight Forum, where we talk all things fights. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. You already know what it is, man. Follow me on social media. It's at Papa Showtime or at Josh Showtime, whichever one you find. And let's get into the nitty gritty. So I actually did a video like 5 days ago. And it's crazy because I was talking about UFC 279, which is what this is about. And the audio jacked up, yo. I already had my predictions and everything. And then my producer Chris was like, bro, the audio's jacked. Look at the jank, I'm pissed. I'm like, man, I gotta record a whole nother one the day before. You know, once again, we're long distance, man. It's a long distance relationship. So it's kind of hard to get these out as often as much because we both have lives, got full-time jobs, all that good stuff. And then the ruckus happened. And then I messaged him as soon as I got to work. I'm like, bro, it had done this anyways. I'm like, everybody missing weight. Freaking, they got in a brawl. Now they about to change up the main card. I'm like, crap, it didn't even matter. I got to come home and do it no matter what. And I'm actually happy about it because it makes more sense. But first, I can't believe, like, what, 4 people missed weight? What the hell's going on? Like, that's so unprofessional. Chimaev missed weight by 8 pounds. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Chris Barnett, you missed weight by 3 pounds, but good Lord, bro, you're heavyweight. You're a heavyweight. How do you miss weight? What the hell? What are we doing? What are you doing? Like, and it's not like you're one of those big heavyweights that are like, you know, lean and muscle. You're fat. And you telling me you was over the 2? There's no excuse. If you lose, that might be cuttable offenses right there. That's bad. But now let's talk beforehand. I don't really want to talk too much about the brawl because I think I'm stupid, but apparently Chimaev, Kevin Holland, and of course the Diaz crew was all in a brawl. It's probably gonna be Nate's last fight, so I mean you might as well go out fighting and do what it is. That probably would have been the closest to winning a fight that he would have gotten in that weekend if he would have fought Chimaev. So I mean it was whack. It was lame in my opinion. Everybody was so interested about it. It was football Thursday for me, so I wasn't worried about it. I didn't really care about it. My friend texted me about it. I'm like, look, bro, it's football Thursday. Yeah, we ain't worried about that right now. But it was trending, like, so I mean it did do something, but at the same time, who cares? My thing is, how do you miss weight by 8 pounds the next day? What were you have all that energy to fight everybody, but you ain't got that same energy to cut the weight. At least get close. Here's I understand. I'm not a fighter, but I'm a wrestler. I've missed weight before, okay? I understand. I missed weight twice, I think, in my life, my whole entire life. And I've been wrestling since I was like 6. It's a hard thing to do. I mean, it's a hard thing to constantly make weight. It's professional. It's what you should do. However, sometimes some of us are in over our heads and we cut too much weight. It happens. I'm not even gonna be mad at you for missing weight like every once in a while. But if it's a continuous thing, like honestly, like Charles Oliveira, he's missed weight many a times. I'm only giving him a leeway for this last time because this is his first time missing weight at 155. However, he does it again, it's like, all right, bro, this is a trend. Like, you're not professional. Don't either go up or make the freaking weight. So yeah, with Chimaev, it's like your first time not making weight. You know, I haven't seen there being humongous issues before when it comes to cutting. Like, obviously, you're a pretty big 170 pounder, but I mean, you know, I think you could stay there for a little bit. But 8 pounds, that's no excuse. That's not even trying. And then you hear about there being an undisclosed injury. Well, damn, where was that energy when you was trying to fight everybody? Like, you wasn't hurt yesterday when you was trying to fight everybody. Now you're hurt and you can't make the weight. And then, if you're too hurt to make weight, you're too hurt to fight. So I still don't give leeway with that stuff, man. Like, I'm sorry, 8 pounds is ridiculous. So right now, it's not official. So I want you guys to know it's gonna air. This is airing the day of the fight, but this is not official yet. So, you know, what I'm saying could be non-existent. None of this could be happening. Or like the murmurs that I'm hearing is true, and we're gonna get the fights that I think we're gonna get, which is the fight that everybody really wanted to begin with, which is having Chimaev fight Holland. They're in the same weight class. Holland is better than Nate Diaz is right now. They obviously have beef now, and it's more of a relevant fight. Granted, it's probably not the same results, but it's relevant. And then get Tony Ferguson out of the Leach fight, because that should have never been made, and get freaking Tony Ferguson into the Nate Diaz fight. And I don't know if I just said Nate. If I did, scratch that. Who knows? But it is what it is. Let's get back to the story. Like the Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson in a fight that should have been brewing for the past, like, in my opinion, 5 years. This fight should have been made. This is the fight that makes so much sense. Such a perfect fight. And I'm gonna break it down in a little bit, but if this fight is happening like I want it to happen, I am in cloud 9 because this is the perfect fight. And then obviously have Rodriguez fight the Leech, which once again, it makes sense. Even though the Leech just made weight at 170, it's not as fair. But I feel like they should give him whatever percentage that Chimaev they should probably give it to the Leech, because at the end of the day, he didn't make weight. And he would be the one that's fighting a guy that's bigger now, but it's not Rodriguez's fault, because obviously he thought he was supposed to fight at 180. So I still think that money for Chimaev should go to the Leech, and he should be able to, obviously get the earnings, or give it to both Nate and also give it to the Leech. But the Leech definitely needs it if he's going to take this fight with Rodriguez. Now let's just talk about the actual these three fights, because I mean the card would have been a really good, like a great elite free card. Like if that was a free card, that'd be fire. But this is a pay-per-view card. We got to pay $70, $80. It's not worth it, to be honest with you. It's not that great of a card. It's not that relevant of a card, to be honest with you. You got two guys that's on their way out. You have one guy with superstar potential, and then you got Kevin Holland, who's honestly fun, but okay. And then you got other guys that are like, up and coming, or not ever gonna become just average fighters. So it's not worth the card, but it's gonna be definitely worth the watch, because I think there's a lot of fun fights in there, especially if they make these arrangements. But let's go ahead and break down these fights, because I don't want to wrap you guys up for too much. But this is crazy. Now, since they're gonna switch and they're gonna put the Leech with Daniel Rodriguez, this fight's gonna be a banger. Both these guys like to stand. They both have knockout power. I think if there's a little bit more well-rounded, I would go with the Leech. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded. However, Rodriguez is a dog. He's a dog's dog. And I mean, I remember the first time I seen him in the fight, I think he was actually not supposed to win that fight. However, the guy's boxing is good. His takedown defense is good. He's really good at getting back up to his feet, which he's really, really good at. And fights and combinations, has really good power. This fight, I believe, will stay standing. And I'm gonna go Daniel Rodriguez. I think that right now he's on I ain't gonna say a tear, but the guy's in a really good rhythm, especially in the stand-up. I don't think anybody really wants to box with him at 170, except for maybe the top of the crops. And I don't think the Leech is there when it comes to his boxing. However, we'll see. But I'm putting my money on Daniel Rodriguez. You don't want to mess with them Hispanic with hands, man. Those dudes, there's something to be messing with. Something not to be messing with, I'm sorry. Now, let's talk about the co-main, if this fight does happen, which would be Kevin Holland versus Chimaev. I mean, realistically, it's the same thing I would have said with the last fight with Nate, except for it's going to be possibly a little bit more competitive, because at least in the stand-up department, granted, Nate does pose threats, especially round 4 and 5, but when it comes to like the first few rounds, he's not posing much of a threat. Whereas at least Kevin Holland poses a threat every second that he's not knocked out or choked out. The guy is still tough. He has power in both hands. He has great kicks. We already know from the ground he can even knock you out. But he does have a glaring weakness, and we all know what that is. It's his wrestling. His wrestling is just not good. He's getting better, but it's not there yet. Chimaev is a legit elite wrestler. He will be able to take Kevin Holland down, and he will be able to ragdoll him and be able to choke him out. It's in the standard department, I do believe that this is actually going to be very competitive. I think Kevin Holland has a lot of things, a lot of traps, a lot of setups that can honestly hurt and confuse Chimaev. We already seen what his stand-up is not perfect. He can get punched, and he sometimes welcomes the damage. Fighting a person like Kevin Holland is not necessarily smart. He's a tall, rangy guy that packs a lot of power and is deceptive. You don't necessarily think it until you get hit by it, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, fight's over. What happened? So yeah, it's gonna be very, I think, intriguing as far as until Chimaev, and it might be the first second of the fight, because we know he's a fast starter. He might just say, screw it, take the shot, choke him out, and then next thing you know, moving on. Which is probably how it's gonna go if I had to guess. If I had my prediction for that fight, I'm going to say Chimaev will get the submission in the first round. I think he'll take him down. I think he will get a rear naked choke, and then it'll be all she wrote. And I think it's gonna happen within the first 2.5 minutes of the fight. The longer this fight goes, I don't think that it favors anybody. I don't really think it favors neither one, because if he had a bad weight cut, it might affect his cardio. Kevin Holland, we never really, we've seen him in the 5 round, but he was pretty gassed. So it's like I said, it's a toss-up when it comes to the cardio. I'm not gonna say it really favors either one, but the wrestling is just the X factor in this. Now, the fight that I really want to talk about, which is the possible main event of the evening, and that is Nate freaking Diaz versus Tony freaking Ferguson. This is a fight, like I said before, should have been made 6 years ago. These guys are elite lightweights. Well, they were elite lightweights. They both have fought for a title, even if it was a real one or a fake one. They both fought for a title. But their styles, I've always said it. These guys' styles are very, very similar, but completely different. Like it's weird to say that, but it is. You think about their strengths; they both align. What is their strength? Amazing cardio, both of them. Great toughness. It's hard to finish either one of them. You have to put them to sleep to knock them out. In order to submit them, you have to either sleep them or break their limbs. They're just so durable, so tough. Mentally, they're just not regular human beings. They're not. Neither one. But stand up. That's where it's a little different. But look, they're both have the same flaws and same flaws and same advantages, which would be normal fights. They're very well rounded. They have decent wrestling. They have great stand up, really good submissions. Now, who's better where? We have to see the fight, which is so amazing. Who's more versatile? Tony Ferguson. Who's more creative? Tony Ferguson. However, the pressure, and they both are pressure fighters. They both like to pop pressure. They both like to have volume strikes. They both can still one punch knock you out. I mean, it's like I said, it's like looking in the mirror, but then not looking at the mirror. They're both different. They're different. I'm not saying they're the exact same fighter because they're not. They're completely different. But they're also very similar. I don't know how to make sense of it, but it does make sense to me at least. So I'm excited. I really hope this fight's a 5-rounder. Both of them will be prepared for it. And if it's a 5-round, it's going 5 rounds. If it's 3 rounds, it's going 3 rounds. I don't think neither one is going to get the stoppage. I think they're both too tough, too durable. I think they both pack power, but I don't think they pack enough power to be able to finish the other. But it's gonna be a very intriguing fight if it does go down. If I had to guess, like I said, 6 years ago, they would have fought in their primes. I would have picked Tony Ferguson easy. I honestly think Tony Ferguson could have possibly got a stoppage via cuts. Now, I'm still going to lean Tony Ferguson by a hair. It's so close. It is so close. Razor close for me to pick a winner between these two. 5-round fight, 3-round fight, I'm still picking the same guy. Doesn't really matter to me. I don't think, like I said, I don't think cardio really matters in this fight. They both have great cardio. So if I had to pick, I'm going to say Tony Ferguson by decision, but we're going to get a war. These guys come to fight, and it's not like this is what we need. This is what we needed. This is the fight that should have been made, but you know they wanted to kill him with Chimaev. However, like I said before, man, this went a little late, but I'm a little long. I'm sorry. But thank you guys for watching as always. This is your boy Showtime. This is Showtime's Fight Forum. Stay blessed as always.